Hey, there, paperback radio hosts. Can you tell us, where do you get all your ideas?
It's funny you ask that. We can sum it up in one word.
Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it please.
Inspiration!
Welcome to the Inspiration Chop Shop, where we take apart our favorite films, books, and anything else we darn well like, and steal every useful bit for our creative malfeasance. Let's see what's on the chop today.
I have Elaine.
You too!
Hi.
Bonjour!
Bonjour. Toujours les discussions sont la cité des enfants perdus.
So,
Because
I
don't
no
speak...
idea how to speak French, so...
I mean, neither of us do. I just thought because my English is so poor, maybe we should add another language for me to mangle on this podcast.
All right, then let me redo the introduction for everybody. Fromage, fromage, fromage. Ma grand-mère est flambée.
Oh, man. That's confusing no one. Anyways.
I just think we're now going to be huge. Our countercultural vibe will spread throughout Paris and the rest of the countryside. We are as fashionable as any.
We are very authentically French. That is absolutely true. Absolutely not true. But to get back to what we're doing, one of my favorite films, The City of Lost Children.
The city?
A city, an entire city of lost children.
Wow.
God, this movie has so many layers. I hadn't actually put that together. Everyone in this is lost looking for a family, Lane.
They
All
are.
the adults are also lost.
Oh, and most of the adults are also orphans, don't have, I mean, it's...
I mean, literally, the main character, possibly, Ron Perlman's character, doesn't even have the same language. He's just doesn't even have the same, he's orphaned nationally speaking. Anyway.
And the bad guy is the created child of another villain. But I don't want to get too much into it because
there's so many cool layers. This is undoubtedly one of my favorite movies. It is one of the posters that pops up in Plagiarize, so we had to do it. So City of Lost Children, famously difficult to talk about. Roger Ebert once said the visual effects and design deserve the highest possible praise, but I'd be lying if I said I understood the plot.
Ebert always surprises me, right? Because, and you'll go into the details, one of the things I loved about the movie is if you can put yourself back into being a child, it's very fairy tale logic.
Yes, kid cartoon logic all the way through. And I honestly don't think the plot is that difficult. I mean, it's very simple plot. Mad scientist is kidnapping children. A circus strongman teams up with a cynical orphan girl to rescue his little brother. There's also an army of blind cultist cyclops, conjoined twins, a dwarf, and 6 identical sons. But poisonous fleas. But they all have their say, and it's just a hero quest.
The thing that gets me about why this is so French is I don't consume a ton of French media.
No,
I don't. But 4 out of 5 have had a cynical young girl in it, and this strikes me as a thing. The hedgehog.
Oh gosh, yeah, Girl and Hedgehog. Oof.
Yeah.
Have you seen Amelie?
I know that one's got a very optimistic young woman.
Yes. So same director, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, and that's probably not how you say his name, but there's that. So he also did Delicatessen, Amelie, and Alien Resurrection.
So that's interesting because that one is hated amongst Alien fans.
Yes.
But now that I know it's this director, it explains a lot.
You see where it's coming from, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was mentioning to you, City of Lost Children is, I think, 15 years in the making. Jean-Pierre Jeunet and his co-director, Marc Caro, had this idea in 1980. They'd known each other for about 6 years doing the independent films. They did not have the funding. This is a film that, go figure, right? needs a lot of visual effects, that needs a lot of funding. So they did not have that. They make Delicatessen, which apparently was a big success. I have not seen it. And it gets its funding by 1995, so 15 years in the making. City of Lost Children gets them invited to direct Alien Resurrection, the fourth of the Alien film. And this is where Mark Caro, who is I think credited as the scenic director, and Jeannot part ways. I get the sense that it's because Caro didn't want to work for Hollywood and those, bourgeoisie pigs, and, get paid to make a big budget film. But he still comes on the project Aliens to help with costume and set design. So the two of them didn't really. It was not an unamicable parting, I guess. After that, Jeannot goes on to make Amélie, which I think is the biggest French film that has ever been made.
It was huge. It was the French film everybody saw for a long time that does not involve wrapping dynamite around one's head.
No. Yes. That is... Oh, man. But yeah, it's a weird film. City of Lost... I mean, so is all his films.
All of the French films.
That is true. But City of Lost Children is particularly weird. It's got a lot of elements of steampunk. It's got a lot of genre blending. I first came upon it in a class that was literally about world building and science fiction and speculative works. So all talking about that. But let's jump into what actually happens in City of Lost Children. I'm going to set the stage for you. It is a delightful holiday film filled with snow, vintage toys, and a tiny child watching as Santa stumbles down the chimney over and over and over and over again. As the toys get weirder, the Santas multiply, get a little drunk, the film starts distorting, and Santa ominously corners the child, who begins to scream. Then Kronk, the villain of the film, wakes from his nightmare screaming. He is a mad genius surrounded by 6 identical men who all join him in screaming until their mother, a dwarf princess matron, slaps them all silly, sort of starts this domino effect. So it goes from kind of heartfelt, hallmarky vintage vibe to horror movie to slapstick comedy in less than 3 minutes. While all its clones, played by the same actor, are like smacking each other around. A brain in a vat, Uncle Irvin, explains that Kronk has yet again failed in his experiment to discover the pure joy of dreaming. Kronk loses his temper, throws a tantrum, beats up a teddy bear. Pan out to this huge oil rig / science lab rising out of a putrid green ocean, silhouetted by this golden moon. Just a beautiful image. Something is dropped into the water. You don't see what it is. It sinks after this big splash, and the child's teddy bear bobs up. So you get the sense that someone has just murdered this child. So that should set the stage for the wild ride that is City of Lost Children. If you haven't seen it, you probably...
Yeah, because they drop you in it.
No context. I mean, the closest we get to setting the stage is Uncle Irvin lying to Kronk, basically saying, you have failed at this, this is... he's such an interesting character because the voice actor who does it is so gentle and paternal, but everything he does is to piss off the mad genius. We followed the water, this candy apple green water, back to a steampunk city where, once again, we're just dropped into the middle, no explanation. We meet literally every other character in this film except the octopus. In this long shot that sweeps across the street, you see the Cyclops, this cult of blind men, recruiting, asking the sighted to pluck out their eyes and discover the true vision of this steampunk cybernetic eyepiece and hearing aid. You see this cadre of orphans that are just absolute nonchalant picking pockets, super French. While one, the strongest man in the world, Ron Perlman, in his sexy young days, I love him so much in this movie, is about to shatter chains for a very French, but probably very excited crowd. So
wearing full Russian striped shirt. Like Russian... we're talking a Russian out of a 50s cartoon.
Yeah, everyone in this is immediately recognizable as some kind of archetype, and none of them fit steampunk, which is so fun. But yeah, he's the the quintessential, like, I'm the strong guy in the circus, complete with this wool sweater. The moment is ruined. The Barker is very excited. He's got everybody watching. He's flexing out here. The moment is ruined when Donray, a very tiny, very hungry boy, bites one of the orphans for trying to steal from him. The Barker defends Donray, and the right-hand man of the octopus, who does not have a name, the actor's name is Rufus, so I'm going to call him Rufus. I think his name is Peeler, but nobody says it. No one says names in this film, except one. We get his name all the time. Maybe that means something. I don't know. But anyway, the Cyclops right-hand man stabs the Barker. Everyone in the crowd is horrified, but really doesn't do much of anything. The blind men witness this and leave, and later on they are going to seek out Donray because he is absolutely unflappable. Even in the midst of this chaos, he's just kind of, big eyes watching what's going on. A little later on, one is sort of mourning the Barker, but also sort of trying to figure out what to do now that his boss is dead. And the cult shows up to lure Donry with a candy apple. One who, despite being the strongest man in the world, is much more of a lover than a fighter, tries to hide, and is very successful at this until Donry eats a sausage, or an apple, and the sound of the crunch deafens the Cyclops.
Just because these names are give it to me. One is the Russian played by Ron Perlman.
Yes, one is the adult Russian played by Ron Perlman. Donry is little brother, petit frère. The cultists are deafened. There's this fight scene, which is fantastic because everyone is very. The thing about the acting is it's incredibly natural. No one is superhuman, even though one of them is the strongest man in the world. He doesn't want to fight these guys. There's three people. They're really hesitant about attacking him because they're blind, and also he's bigger than them. So you have this we're sort of huffling around each other, not really wanting to engage until, the scariest of them, Sken has no name, basically grabs him and is going to choke him. One rips out his eyepiece. And
the one eyepiece.
Yeah, the one eyepiece that lets him see. So it's a very weird fight. One manages to get free of them, but he gets out of the street just in time to see the little brother getting thrown into the back of a truck that has a blinking eye. It's just amazing. So he chases. Yeah,
and not particularly gruesome either.
No, it looks like it fit really well into the fair. It fits the vibe of here's this bizarre cult, and it blends in the world really well. One runs after the truck. He's not faster than a truck, and then he sort of stumbles around the city, not knowing where to go next. This movie is full of Deus Ex Machinas and these coincidences. So he walks into a watchtower, and I don't know if he's still running from the Cyclops, the blind men, or if he's seen one of them go in there, so he's looking for them. But he goes into this room, and instead of the Cyclops, it's a gang of orphans who've all gathered to consolidate their money. Among them is Miette, who we love, that little stoic, streetwise urchin girl, who's just the most French of the French characters.
But also very artful dodger.
Yes.
Very Dickensian.
Yes. All these Victorian orphans are very Dickensian. Yeah, so the orphans are in there. One of the kids, I think his name is Tadpole, is absolutely in love with the straw man. He's like, "You're the guy from the fair!" All the others are, we're French children. We're impressed by you, I guess.
Already smoking
I mean, I think so. I'm pretty sure one of them at least is smoking. Maybe I put that up there. But anyway, the Cyclops show up and the urchins are like, "We don't want to fight them. You don't want to fight them." So they tie him up and he's unconscious in the chair. So these kids are in this watch house with the unconscious guy. The Cyclops come in, either accept a bribe or just take the kids' money. Nothing is explained in this film. We don't really know what their relationship is. Because these guys, you find out shortly, I mean, you've already found out, they're the ones kidnapping the children. Maybe they're paying a bribe, do not kidnap us. But that is entirely fan theory here. As soon as the Cyclops are gone, the leader of the kids, Miette, basically shows us how cool they are. They've hidden most of the money. She counsels one of the older boys not to overdo his shows of bravery. Basically, he was like, "Hey, don't actually get hurt doing this, And then they pay off / abandon one because they still tie him to this chair. So it's we also dealt with the crazy guy who ran in here by tying him to this chair, and now we're gonna get out of here. One follows them trying to figure out what they know about the Cyclops, how to get to the Cyclops because they stole his little brother. He destroys the chair which they don't expect. So the kids are like going away, and it's this very tense moment where they're like throwing rocks at him, kind of like he's a dog following them home, but also like, you're scary and much stronger than us, and we don't want anything to do with this, but we aren't going to like actually run away because you'll know that we're afraid of you. So it's this kind of funny, kind of sad move. So that is why he is following the gang of children. Back in the oil rig, the brain in the vat, Uncle Irvin, and Kronk the evil scientist are torturing each other.
Yeah, I love their relationship. It is so hostile, but so weirdly loving. It's like a kind of typical paternal son relationship.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like their only love language is how they can annoy the other and get in the way of the things that might bring them joy, because I don't bring you joy, so you can't have joy. So the clones are trying to celebrate Kronk's birthday, the dwarf lady too, and Kronk just won't let them do it. He's just being a jerk. So Irvin decides, he basically convinces Kronk to study the source of his own evil by investigating the molecular structure of his tears. That's such a fairy tale thing. We love it. Such a weird thing. But, they're mad scientists. They're geniuses. They know what they're doing. So, the clones are trying to make him cry with laughter. So you have this other bizarre slapstick moment inside of here. Then Irvin can immediately make Kronk cry by telling him a fairy tale of their creation. The original mad scientist created for himself a beautiful princess to be his wife. She got small. She's the dwarf. Cloned 6 children who have narcolepsy. Created that's the clones. Created a companion to talk to, the brain in a vat who's riddled with migraines. The inventor, not picking up that fate is cursing all of this stuff. Makes a super intelligent man to be his perfect son, but this man is unable to dream and suffers from it. Prematurely ages, I think, is the gist. The tale does make Kronk cry, and Irvin underscores how ridiculous Kronk is as this, this crazed masterpiece. He's so insane that he thinks a teardrop is going to be able to save him. It's just a great moment. The whole time you see this, the dwarf and mama is basically consoling Kronk, trying to keep the peace here, annoyed with Irvin, but not really defending anybody, just enabling the bad behavior. Like, she's there. Irvin then predicts the entire outcome of the film, but we don't need to get there. One of the clones secretly communicates to Irvin he will see him later, and then Kronk shuts down the birthday party so Irvin doesn't get his cake. Not that I know how he would eat it. He's a brain in a jar. A fishbowl. Big tank. Okay, now we're back to Rufus, the guy who just killed One's Barker, his boss. He's just having lunch and torturing a dog, possibly just keeping the dog from eating his food. It's not really animal abuse. It's just another one of those, you're not getting the thing you think you need, the thing that you want. I'm not going to give it to you easily. You have to fight for it. But mostly just failing to keep watch as the orphans file past and we finally meet the octopus. This is conjoined twins, and they are the most terrifying characters in this film.
They're such good villains.
Such good villains. Such good actors, too. So it is actual twins in real life. I will not attempt their names because they're French. But the thing that they do is literally finish each other's sentences. The thoughts there, they act together as one. So one of them will have a thought and the other will have the conclusion of that thought, which is just wonderful to see. They are called the octopus because the way they move with their hands, like one will reach over the other's hand and go back, and it's so good. But they're conjoined on their hip, they share a leg, have this weird, cool club foot thing. And they are, if this is a Dickensian story, they are the Fagin and the Sykes of the Artful Dodger. So they're both, we give you food, we give you comfort, we give you support and structure, but also we will kill you if you fuck with us. It's just great. So also fairy tale witches. I mean, literally these women cackle and are crazy. So,
and I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but I always got a feeling of sort of an Eisner-ish influence on this one. And he, of course, had a villain called the Octopus. But that was a single person. I don't think was contributing.
Yeah, I do not know. It's a great name for them. So because oftentimes you have a woman like this, she'd just be, oh, it's the witches, but no, it's the octopus. And I think it's the English word octopus. So like one is in English, octopus is English, cyclops is in French, but it's the same, it's a Greek word. Anyway, moving on. So the gang of children presents their earning to the ladies, who are just creepy cinco. Yeah, the cuckoo clock. I love that scene too. One brain, two bodies, and the bodies are fused to the leg and hip. Once again, incredibly realistic to me how incredible to me how realistic this acting is. So the kids are here, they're bored, they're snickering like they're in school in front of a particularly scary teacher. The actresses of the twins are very cruel but also motherly. So the insanity of these images is just so completely grounded in how lived in these characters feel. These are children testing their boundaries with someone who is going to banish them to a pit. You know, you also get this weird sense that Miette has learned all of their tricks, and it's going to make it everybody's problem. And all of this happens in like 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, it's not a very long scene.
No, really, really quick scene, really quick introduction. All of these scenes go by very quickly. It's obviously, if you're an English speaker, you can't look away because you're reading the subtitles, but it's a movie that you could not listen to it as an audio play because so much is happening and so much of it is the visualsness. One has followed the kids, his only lead on the Cyclops cult to get his little brother back, snuck past the lookout, peering through the window at this sort of corrupted school lesson. The octopus is teaching the kids how they're going to steal a safe. Miette notices him, kind of waves him off, tells him to go away. One of the boys, I love this scene, picks up a knife and is like threatening him. And it's like this 8-year-old kid. It's the funniest, cutest image. And the best part is Ron Perlman, this lovable, clumsy oaf, is a little intimidated by it.
I know, he is so childlike.
Yes.
Which works very well for this entire thing.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched this, I thought to myself, "Oh, he's mentally disabled. He's a child in a man's body." But by the middle of the film, you're like, "No, that's not the case. He's just really
it's not." But he has been sort of keeping himself, letting other people dictate, which is why some of the children, actually, I'd say a number of the children, are far more mature. Which again is very fairy tale logic.
Yeah, all of these children are more mature than him. All of them are less naive than him, and you don't know why. I mean, this is a adult man living in a world that is pretty vicious, but he hasn't let it harden him. He falls in love with these kids very quickly, but we'll get to that in a minute. So he's intimidated by the 7-year-old with a knife, stumbles into a bunch of wine bottles. Of course, this is France. Triggers the dog, wakes up the man, and then, because he doesn't want to fight, he rushes into the building to flee the vicious canine, just as the octopus is saying, "Kids, you have to crack the safe. It's going to take you 2 hours, but unless you know someone who can carry it," he runs in, lifts up the safe, puts it in front of the door, and then kind of looks around at everybody who's staring at him in slack-jawed amazement at how effortlessly he could lift this. So that's how he joins the gang of urchin children. This adult Russian who barely speaks any French.
And of course, Ron Perlman did not speak French before this movie, right?
I don't think he did. I don't know if he spoke French after it. He didn't speak very good French during it.
Yeah, it's entirely phonetically, which works so well.
It does. And what there's so many. I love there's a scene in it where someone is teaching him a new French word, and he learns it very quickly. Even though he's drunk, it's just great. It's just great. The whole movie is a bunch of little weird episodes and astonishing coincidences kind of coming together to make this whole plot. So I'm going to trim back and not sum us up and walk us through each one. The theft, they steal the safe in spite of its cartoonish logic. It goes really well. Then the safe gets lost because one sees Don Ray's kidnappers and just fucking drops in the water because he doesn't care about this stuff. Miette, knowing the octopus is going to kill her and one and everybody else involved in this because they lost the thing, basically throws in with one at this point. And partly she's just amazed by how loyal he is to a useless little brother who's already gone. She's like, well, you failed to save him. You move on at this point. And one's like, no. And it's a great scene. Kind of the opposite of what you're used to, because the child is the cynic, telling the older man to give up on his childish fantasies. And one, mostly through mime and one-syllable words and punching a building in grief, convinces Miette that there is love, there is family, and that she ought to help him. Big thing throughout, Miette is always helping other people. She's always asking for help, and she never gets any help, except from one. So, meanwhile, Miette's model for family, the octopus, is plotting her murder, mostly as a means of showing the other Orvans that they can't fuck around. The clones entertain Kronk by detailing their dreams, something he seems to legitimately take pleasure in. So really, this entire movie could have been subverted if Kronk had, a podcast like Paperback Radio, where he could just listen to weird stories over and over again.
I do think that's the moral of the story.
That is the moral of the story. We needed audiobooks for Kronk. That was it. So he would have loved podcasts.
It's so funny. I forget the mad scientist's name is Kronk. I always just call him the mad scientist, and I keep thinking of the
Kronk.
Yeah, of the assistant to Yzma in the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
These are different characters. These are different characters.
Yeah. And I mean, the way it's spelled, it looks like his name is Crank. I don't know if that would help if I call him Crank in French, Kronk, but. Kronk. We'll just keep on Kronk. No. So the mad scientist just needed audio plays. While he is... Oh, what I also love about this is the clones are telling him their dream. They're clearly all sharing their dream, which is something I stole for one of my projects. And they are so
And I stole from you for one of the prompts. Yeah.
It's about time you stole from me. The clones are so interchangeable that literally they will swap out mid-sentence so that Kronk is not disturbed in his, listening. But while Kronk is, working on whatever he's working on, Uncle Irvin is meeting with one of the clones, convinces him that he's the original, that he's unique, because he can do something no one else can, use the dream of a child to send out a cry for help. So Uncle Irvin is trying to get out of this situation, wants to save people. So he is at least more good than the rest of the team. He's not passive like the dwarf mother or the clones, who really don't seem to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And he won't let himself be led anymore by Kronk, but he's also a brain in a vat. He can't interact well with the world, so he needs his clone to send out this message for help. One and Miette infiltrate the Cyclops headquarters temple, where they witness everyone's favorite dwarf princess and another one of the clones giving out the eyepieces, earpieces that make the blind men full members of their glorious brotherhood. So you see how everybody is interacting now. This is a real weird spot. I think the point of the Cyclopses is to destroy the world because sighted humans are vermin and lazy. It's very red, very Nazi-coded. They're also hoarding food, which Don Ray notices. The little boy is there. No, the kids are being exchanged for the eyepieces. So one eyepiece for one child. So every one of the Cyclopses that you see in that room represents at least one child who has been kidnapped and killed. And there are hundreds of these cultists.
Yeah, because this thing, even though it can be funny, it is got stakes.
Yes.
Like there is suffering going on.
Yes. I mean, it's bizarre, it's weird, but it is tragic. So one is so close to saving Don Ray at this point. He hears the kid burp and as usual loses his goddamn mind. He runs down and he's ready to fight every single cultist, and he fails because he's not Hellboy. He's just the strongest man in the world, which is not that much stronger than most guys. He and Miette get captured and get condemned to be executed. So I think it tells you a lot that Miette has not managed to escape or abandon one at this point. She's already attached.
Yeah.
Because this movie runs on corruption and coincidences, one of the cultists pickpockets Miette, steals the pearls that she stole from the safe. The cultist brings them to the octopus defense and knows that, to basically let them know when they pay him, we have this little girl in a red dress. What do you want us to do? They're going to kill her. The women are just amused by this and are like, good, she's going to be a midnight snack for the fishes, a perfect ending to this nasty little girl. Irvin and Kronk have a heart-to-heart, one of the moments in the piece where they are literally talking to each other as companions. And it's like, man, you could make him understand, Irvin, if you weren't so hostile towards him, Because basically Kronk is like, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? What am I doing that's, why can't I have this dream? And Irvin is like, because you have no soul. Because you're fucking evil. But he's saying this in this quiet, fatherly, patient way. And it's like, it's such a good performance. So you actually start kind of feeling bad for Kronk, because he's
I think you start feeling bad for him fairly early.
yeah, yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I think it's so smart they show how much suffering he's created.
Yes.
Because it doesn't, because I've started feeling from the moment he tears up early on when he wakes up from a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He's got so many bodies on
Yeah,
his
so many bodies, so many sins. He's hurting so many people. Yeah, so he's just a spoiled old man. But maybe actually a child himself because of the aging up thing. Like the fact that his aging was quickened. Who knows how old he is? But anyway, in trying to make himself less frightening to the tiny children he's kidnapped, he does something that I think could not make him more frightening. He dresses up as Santa, and has the clones stage this Christmas event, which is why I have the Christmas mug. It's a horribly misguided effort. As someone who's pretty good with children, I'm watching this like, oh man, you're doing everything wrong. The first of which is he wakes these kids up in the middle of the night. They're all under 3 years old. He wakes them up. Even if he's really good with kids, these kids are gonna scream. Great acting from the toddlers who might have just been like traumatized by the experience of
who knows?
yeah. The only one utterly unaffected, I don't think he's in the scene yet, but if he is, he's eating, is Don Ray. He proves himself to be unflappable again, but I think he enters later on. I think he's off on the thing, and I hallucinated that part, so ignore that. Meanwhile, the octopus is visiting their former barker, a man who is terrified of them, but also in love with them. He does have a name. His name is Marcello. I'm going to call him by his name because ex-acrobat, barker, flea trainer is weird. So Marcello is absolutely broken, opium addicted, literally keeps a picture of them on his table. So the octopus hires him to get back one, they want one, and to let Miette die. So Marcello gets out his Russian nesting dolls and a drop of this terrible poison, which he attaches to a trained flea and gets to work. So one and Miette are tied foot to shoulder on separate planks above this yucky green water. The only thing balancing them is a basket of fish, and the seagulls are coming. Cyclops are making bets on who's going to die first. This is a really pivotal scene because it is a vicious world. Miette knows this, but one seems completely shocked. He literally says, one will die, almost surprised that this is possible. He's still fighting, but she has just kind of accepted it. And then the flea arrives. Its poison causes, every source I could see says mindless aggression, but I think it actually makes you attack the thing you most love. So the thing most precious to you that you can see, because they don't seem mindless. They seem really calculated and understanding as they are destroying the thing, closest to them. So the scariest guy in the Cyclops is the one that one fought earlier, ripped his eye out. He got a new one back at the temple thing. He's the one who gets stung by the flea. And in one of the creepiest moments in the film, he disconnects his buddy's eye. And the guy is just standing there talking to him, trusting him as the scary dude puts a knife in the socket and then brains him. The next guy running away gets caught by Scary Dude, has his wire connected to Scary Dude's monocle, so he's literally watching himself get strangled to death. All of this through this sort of weird green hazy vision of the eyepiece. So it's beautiful, it's horrible. This flea poison is not fucking around.
No, but again, not gory, which is like, don't get me wrong, it's visceral. But it's not gory. Again, we're in the sort of eating children, dancing to death.
Yeah. It's this fairy tale thing. And then he popped his eye out. Kind of
hot cold shoes. It's in this world.
Yeah. I mean, also the world of comic book villains. Like this is he's stealing the dreams of children.
Oh yeah, no. I was definitely going to
the fact that he then murders them afterward is the thing that that Captain America or Doctor Strange doesn't get to come in and save a horde of children afterward. Like, anyway, back to the thing. Marcello is able to save one. One is shouting at him the entire time, "Save Miette, save the girl, save Miette." This breaks the already broken man. Like, Marcello's barely holding his shit together. But it seems to barely impact Miette. She falls off the plank when the fish are eaten, disappears into the water with the same kind of splash we saw at the beginning of the movie. So it's this great visual pullback to that. Another child dying for this thing. One, as is his nature, is emotionally wrecked by the seeming death of Miette. She does not struggle as she drowns. It's actually very peaceful under the water. It's one of the few times in the film that everything's kind of quiet. We see her body is found by a diver who brings her to a submarine. When he takes off his helmet, we are shocked. He's the clone.
The clone?
The original. And you know he's different because he's got a big beard. So this guy's nuts. A complete madman. He tags Miette's corpse and adds her to his collection of weird findings. But when
Very Uncle Joe from Condor Heroes.
Oh, for all those people who have, who are the overlap of the French audience who's also reading, 1950s Chinese literature. I know it's us. I knew Joe. I knew Uncle Joe. I knew what you meant.
Hey, 500 million people read those books.
Yes.
I'm sure one of them will watch us.
And they will get the illusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, very Uncle Joe. Tagging this corpse at his collection, accidentally steps on her hand, and she comes back to life. I don't know what that's saying, that, Mia is brought back to life by pain, and a pain that isn't even like, we caused this to help you. He's not helping her. He steps on her, and that's what brings her back. Afterward, the driver's much more sympathetic, I think he calls her crawfish or something like that. But, he's like, oh, good. You'll be with me here. You'll be my friend. I collect treasure. The safe that one dropped is in his collection. So Miette is able to get all of these jewels back. There's a skeleton frozen in concrete. So he's excited to tell her that. And
it's Jimmy Hoffa.
What?
Jimmy Hoffa.
From Jimmy Hoffa. He was in a French steampunk film. Go figure. Most sad of all, a child's teddy bear. The same child's teddy bear that we saw at the beginning of the film. Miette very kindly tells the crazy man she's leaving, and some reason this triggers in him triggers him to give her more information about the devil, this crazed man who is taking the children to experiment on. He tells her basically it's this giant, this lair. You can find it, but there's a bunch of minefields in the way, and you need it. You need the map from the tattooed Chinaman, who's actually Vietnamese, I think. And so Miette takes the jewels and gets the hell out of Dodge. But as she does, she sees Don Reed being taken on a boat that is going out to the oil rig. So she's like, fuck, I have to save this boy. And I have to find one to do it. So she starts looking for one. Marcello and one are at a bar trying to drown their sorrows. I love this scene so much because it's a whorehouse and the two whores are doing their best. The madam is with Marcello and she's like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know how to help you. You're crying. Your friend is crying. Neither of you seem to want to have sex, but you're in my bar. So I guess drink some more? They put on some Russian music and you get to see one is like, yes, this is my home. This is who I am. A little dance. This fed up whore, fed up. It's very customer service moment. Like, what do I do with this guy? I don't know how to help him. Anyway, so she happens to be in a red dress like Miette and has these dark curls, which is not helping. But she brings him slightly out of his sad stupor with her, little shakes. Miette has the chance to leave one. Basically, she finds out the orphans tease her for liking one, for believing in his loyalty, for believing in love. And they bring her to this place and basically one is picking up women. Basically you have this moment where she's like, I could go back, but I'm not going to because I want to know what it's like to have a little brother. I want to know what it's like to be a little sister. So she basically walks into this whorehouse and it's such a great moment. Because this is where the hooker is teaching one radiator, because he's very warm. Apparently he runs hot, especially while drinking. She's kind of bringing him out of the stupor because, he's a man and she's a beautiful woman. But he keeps getting reminded of Miette by the red dress, by what she's saying, and starts crying again. While he is crying, Miette walks in. And I love this moment because the whore is like, oh, his lady is here. Let me powder my nose and I'll be off. very professional kind of, I'm out of this. I better get clear of the scene because there's a scene going to happen. The girl comes in immediately nagging. You should be ashamed of yourself. One is very pleased to see her and then passes out drunk. For the first time in this movie, Miette actively asks for help from Marcello. She cannot get one out of the bar. He's too drunk. But Marcello was going to bring him into a car to bring back to the octopus, where I imagine they plan on using his love for children and his blind loyalty to make him part of their family.
Yes, no, let's be clear. There's nothing creepy about this.
Yeah, yes, it's one of the things I actually really admire about this movie.
Love it. Love it. It is such a profoundly sweet and gentle relationship.
Yes, it is. It is such a guy who's just like, I like kids. You're all kids. I like you.
Yeah,
and I think, go ahead.
And my urge is to protect. My urge, it's that kind of thing. In some ways, and I don't want to get into it too much, it reminds me of the American version of The Professional.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so irritated when I saw the original version of The Professional.
European version, yeah, where he reciprocates the kids' love, which is just kind of, it's one of the things I really like about this movie. They make it very clear that one is an adult man. Like with the scene with the horror, you're like, yes, he is attracted to this woman. He is an adult, but that's not how he is with the kids because he's not a bad person.
Yes.
He is uncorrupted by the creepiness of this movie because he's Ron Perlman. Miette asks Marcello for help. Marcello lets her down. Gets the guy out to the truck. The boys who she has not asked for help come through for her, and they steal one out of the truck with another childhood cartoonish thing. They get a crane hook on his coat and lift him out and then put him on a steel drum, and he is running and jumps into the barrel of the water where one of them sends a tire to catch him just in time. But as soon as they pull him out of the water, the boys are basically back to being little adults again. They turn on Miette being like, he's a grown-up, he can't be trusted. And she's like, he might be big, but he's not a grown-up, he's too stupid. And the most childish, and maybe we're not so little, and the most childish of them, Tadpole's basically like, I'm little. And you get this moment from Miette where she's like, right, I'm supposed to take care of you. I need to care and protect you. But I can't leave this guy. I want to be part of his family. I want to see what that's like to have someone taking care of me. And so she decides to stick it out with one and rescue Don Ray. They've missed the last boat to save Don Ray. He's out. So they decide they're going to sleep on grain bags. And in a scene that every parent will recognize immediately, because she doesn't want to go to sleep, the little girl starts pestering one with all these questions about his past and all this stuff. One tries to tell her about his past as a sailor, as a harpooner. He hears the whales sing, and suddenly he can't hit whales anymore, so he loses his job. And in this scene, he adopts her officially as his little sister. And it's adorable. Then we get one of the weirdest sequences in the film. The nightmare that Uncle Irvin has bottled breaks. It infects the diver who has collected it as treasure. And you get this flashback, which is weirdly one of the brightest scenes in the film. Because
almost everything else it's not quite black and white, but it's really that vibe. It's so dark.
It's super saturated. It's very noir. But this is the one spot where there's really bright clinical lights. And Kronk, as a young man, is attacking the original clone, the diver, while the others are growing in vats. As the two of them fight, it's clearly going to be for the death. To the death. The mad scientist, the original, might win, but just as he's about to stab the guy with a poisoned needle, the dwarf princess sides with her son and hits the inventor over the head. She loves her boys.
Yeah.
The two of them drop the inventor out of the rig, and he begins his life as the amnesiac treasure hunter. You get a sense when he wakes up from this dream he's going to do something about the bullshit that's been happening. The bottled message continues to spread, racing across the steampunk city, over the bricks, over the water, wakes babies, scares children, including Miette, who then puts together that the madman knew what was going on, was talking about minds and tattoos. We just accept it. We roll with it. We don't ask why she knows and puts this together. She does. And she's like, one, wake up. We have to find the tattooed Chinaman to get his map of the minefield and save your brother. Along the way, she's imagining herself as older by putting on this jewelry. Once again, very sweet kind of relationships. One of my favorite moments here, Miette has been telling one not to worry. He's going to wear his shoes out with worry, but she can't keep up with him, so she asks him for help. And he basically puts on this like, kid, why didn't you say you were having trouble? Takes off her shoes, realizes she has worn a hole in her shoe from keeping up with her worry, and then puts her on his back and walks around the city with her. And just, it's nothing. She's a kid. But it's just her getting help just feels so good, you know? Let's see. They find, they're going to get the map to the minefield because bribery and compassion wins the day. And they find it tattooed on a guy's head, which I love. In Kronk's world, Donray escapes the dining room where the kids are being fed gruel. He finds his way into the kitchen and is delivered to Kronk, where there is actual good food. And he eats all of Kronk's dinner, but is absolutely unafraid of the mad scientist. He just keeps eating the food on his table. When Kronk tries to scare him, the brat is completely unfazed, even spits at him, spits like a pit at him, and then tries to eat a candle. We love this kid. He's adorable. One and Miette steal a rope.
Yeah, it's like, and it's almost like Kronk, the mad scientist, is trying to figure out what's up with this kid.
Yeah,
He's so infallible that it's like, are you the secret I've been looking for?
Exactly. He gets this kind of moment of, this is the key. I found, like, of the million ways not to invent a light bulb, this is the way to do it. This is going to give me the good dream. And it's going to be about food, I bet, but it's going to be a good dream. This kid's not afraid of me. So he's hopeful. He's hopeful. One and Miette steal a rowboat, head out to the water to save Donry, but we see a flea and hear the laughter of two women. The octopus has come to kill Miette and get back one, and they've brought Marcello's poison. They think he's dead. He's not been dead. It's a great moment where the guy, Rufus Peeler, the guy with the dog who stabbed the barker at the beginning, has been ordered to shoot Marcello and does not shoot him. Miette, this is the one time bribery doesn't work. Miette gives the octopus the jewels, the treasure that they had been looking for, and the octopus is not going to let her go. They begin to play this tune. It triggers the poisoned flea. And I don't know how much Miette knows about Marcello. I don't know if she knows the fleas, but she is certainly not expecting it, and she's not prepared for it when one begins to kill her. Absolutely chilling, because first of all, Ron Perlman is a huge man. Like his fist is the size of her head. It's horrifying. He slaps her and she literally goes flying. And Miette is the most childish we've seen her at this point. She begins to cry and she just kind of stands up and walks back to him. And you have this moment where one reaches out to her and just kind of strokes her face very affectionately before he backhands her again. And then picks her up like a doll and is just strangling her. And you see this tear. This is the weirdest scene in a weird film. This single tear that flies off of her eye and sets off this bizarre chain of events. The tear hits a bird who wakes up, wakes a dog, that scares more birds who poop on a car that then crashes into a hydrant and then floods a drain and washes rats into a brothel where the naked women running away distracts an electrician who short circuits a wire that is connected to the lighthouse, which means a huge ship coming into the dock can't see where it's going and it crashes. The very dock that the octopus is standing on, playing the hurdy-gurdy that controls the poison. The two of them watch in amazement as the edge of this ship comes closer to strike them, possibly to separate them. One and Miette dive into the harbor to escape, only to be trapped by the debris, but the conjoined twin just kind of stands there as their fate plows toward them. The ship stops the second it hits their club foot. And it's almost like the power of their unity, of their togetherness, has stopped this huge force of nature. And they're just cackling maniacally.
Which is how I always took it, or they were denied being separated, and it helps enforce the madness.
Yes. Oh my God, yeah. Whichever I mean, nothing is explained in this film. Why we love it.
Yep.
So yeah, but I get the sense nothing can kill or break up these two witches except a poisoned flea, and Marcello was not killed. So, in the absolute weirdest sequence in the film, right after this, the flea goes back to Marcello, hits rides on a bunch of animals in town, just absolute insanity. The flea gets back, communicates to this broken man what has happened, and Marcello goes to save the day for real this time.
Yep.
The octopus is pouring gasoline on Juan and Miet, who are trapped in the water in the harbor, and she's making a game. I keep forgetting it's two people. They're making a game of lighting matches and dropping them in this oil water. So eventually it's going to catch, but it hasn't yet. While they are doing this, one of them gets bit and slaps her neck. The other says ow, and then they both look at each other because they know what's happened. They hear the music. Marcello is there, and they begin to attack each other, pulling hair, name calling, biting each other's noses, just tearing each other apart. For the twins that played this, I think it must have been very therapeutic.
Yes.
One of me get this opportunity to get out of the water, get back into their stolen boat. And Marcello is watching these twins kill each other through tears. He loves these women.
He does. No, the amount of affection the villains have for each other in this is fantastic.
Yeah. It's horrible. But the twins fall into the water, literally where Juan and Miet just were. And Marcello, once again through tears, throws his cigarette at the oil, and it burns the witches. The last thing you see of them is the club foot that is the third blade pops up out of the water. Yep. Juan, Miet, and the diver converge on the oil rig at the same time, just as Donray is being strapped into the nightmare machine to steal his dreams. The clones and the dwarves are trying to ward off their creator. And I think this is the sequence that got Jeannot the nod to do Alien Resurrection, because it is extremely ominous. Like, the one of the clones finds out the explosives are gone. Nobody seems to hear him nor know what to do, so he just kind of closes the doors. They find the diver's helmet, but they don't know what it means. The stairs are making this sound as a mysterious figure comes closer and closer to the dwarf woman. It's actually Miet. But it's so foreboding, and these characters that have been nothing but kind of silly creatures.
Yeah.
We have this another moment of cartoon kid logic where Juan and Miet have to separate, and one ties the loose thread of his, Russian striped sweater around her waist so that she can find her way back. And we get this, great fan service of young Ron Perlman slowly losing his shirt.
You say young, but this is 95, right?
It's 95.
This is years after the thing that made his name.
This
is
is, but I think most people today probably know him as the dad in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, or Hellboy.
Or Hellboy, yeah. And I don't know when Hellboy is 2000s, right?
Yeah, no, Hellboy's after this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and he's got such a boyish face in this. Like, I mean, but anyway, this play does not work. One begins to take on the clones. Kind of funny, he's shocked to keep seeing the same face over and over again. Less funny, the dwarf almost kills Miet by shooting her. The diver arrives just in time to save her and harpoons his former princess.
I know, it's so bizarre on both ends.
Yeah. Just the quickness, the efficiency of it, and then she has this very calm moment where she says to one of the clones, like, he's like, "Oh, are you okay? Does it hurt?" And she's like, "It hurts. I'm allergic to steel." And it's like, just, it's heartbreaking. All she wants to do is protect her children, And while she is there dying, the the original is going, erasing his mistake. The dwarf tries to help her. She's bleeding through her mouth. She points Miette through this passage. She says it will take her to all the kidnapped children. She gives her a key so she can rescue them before the diver blows up everything. But like everyone who has ever helped Miette, it's a trap. As soon as the girl gets close enough, the dying woman pulls this lever. The floor falls out from under her and is going to drop her into the bay. Miette is rescued by one who barely saves her life and immediately falls into the same trap. So we lose one. He drops out of the floor, and Miette is devastated. It is up to her now to find and save Donry, who is already in the dream with the mad scientist. Miette, teary-eyed from losing one. It's the other time in the film she actually looks like a little kid. She finds her way into Irvin's room. She's upset about being tricked, completely unfazed by the brain in a vat. She does not, she's a little like, oh, that's weird. You're talking to me? Okay. She doesn't trust him.
Her world was already weird.
It's a pretty weird world. Yeah.
Brain in a vat is only slightly more weird.
Yeah, it's so much magical realism. Everybody's just like, yeah, all right, that weird thing, cool, we're here. Yep. Brain in the vat, why not? She basically is upset about being tricked. She avoids the brain in a fish tank, just kind of ignores him, and goes to try to wake up Donry. I do not know if Irvin is lying to her, or if this is true, but he convinces her that if she wakes Donry up, it's going to kill him. The only way to save him is for her to enter the dream and face Kronk.
Oh, I think it's absolutely true. Because we've seen the brain in the jar has been trying to help the kids and is weird off.
And he's been trying to help the kids, and he knows the most thing he can do to help the kids is to kill Kronk. And the way to do that is... in this dream place. But I mean, I have no reason to think he's lying, except that I was watching this one. I'm like, oh, he's more hostile than I remember. Like, I was really picking up on the game that he and Kronk are playing more than before.
I could see that. I could absolutely. It's more about Kronk's death than their rescue.
Yes. It's like, I don't care if I kill you and this boy as long as Kronk dies. But Miette is deciding to face him. She straps herself in. Here's this great moment of like, why am I doing this? He's not my little brother. And Irvin is like, isn't he? Isn't he though? And it's like, cut to this fucking dream. It's Christmas, the vintage toys, the child Donry, alert, watching everything. His little nose is twitching, but it's not Santa who comes down the chimney. It's Miette. She ignores the Santas who follow after her, who are already in the room, and she picks up Donry, who does not bite her. Every time Donry has been handled by anyone except one in this film, he bites them. It's his move. The man is all appetite. So there's that. The door to the room, she's heading towards it. It's beautiful, wooden, decorated with Christmas ornaments. It changes into cold prison iron as she looks at it. Miette is able to open it, and behind this is Donry sitting behind a desk, eating dinner. It's Kronk's desk. She realizes the baby in her arms is the old man, and he's demanding to know who she is and why she's interrupting his dream. They end up making a deal where she, fearless as she is going to replace Donry as the source of the dream. What I love about this is Kronk is so aware that it's a trap, but he also knows he's the smartest man in the world, and he thinks he's in control. You keep panning to the shot of this golden rope hanging that he uses to summon the clones, so he knows he's got this, right? So they begin to have this weird change. The camera's spinning around them. She is getting older. Kronk is getting younger as they have this intense eye contact, right? When they are both there, this moment when they're both equally young adults, you're like, oh, what is this intense eye contact? What's going to happen here? Then it continues to go. Miette is the older woman, gray in her hair, and Kronk is a teenage boy, and clearly unnerved by what is happening. Like, this isn't what I expected. I'm so baby-faced, The floor and bookshelves are beginning to wobble. The ring on his hand falls to the ground, and he begins to reach for his way out. He's reaching for this golden rope hanging in the room. Miette grabs the teenage boy and begins to waltz with him, like manhandling him, dancing around the room while he's trying to get away from her. Uh, and he keeps getting smaller and younger in this fight, and she keeps getting older and more fragile. So eventually he escapes, but as he's reaching for the golden rope, he shrinks again into a tiny boy the size of the children he's been kidnapping, and he's unable to reach the rope. Miette ages very stoically into this fragile little old woman and just kind of watches Kronk have this meltdown in fear. In real life, Kronk is whimpering and crying, so is Miette. You hear, what I love about this is Miette suffers in complete silence. She's got these silent tears on her face. Kronk is whimpering, wailing, making these annoyed noises. Miette is just, no expression except slight discomfort and the wetness of the tears.
Yeah.
Extremely good actor. She manages, the old woman in the dream pulls the golden rope and escapes behind a curtain. The rope is the bell that summons the clones. So one clone comes in, looks around, sees the infant Kronk, loads him into the nightmare machine, where he is helpless and is going to be tormented again, just like all of Kronk's victims. This begins to repeat. It is on this loop. Kronk wakes from this nightmare and dies, collapsing into Irvin's camera. Miette is still in the dream. It's this old woman, and one comes up to her and very gently wipes away her tears and wakes her up. It's this kind of weird reverse where it's like a man who's talking to his mother, like, please wake up, are you okay? This kind of very different. Miette opens her eyes in real life, and one is there, wiping away her tears, rescuing him. He got caught in a bird's nest as he was falling down from the top. The diver literally passes him and is like, you got to get out of here. I'm going to blow this stuff up. And he's like, nope, I'm going back up. So one is there. He's got his little sister. He's got his little brother. And they also rescue the rest of the children. What I love about this is so on brand for Don Ray. He gets lost again. And they find him when there's a bunch of food. So one sees him, and he comes and he's like gonna choke him. He's like, just picks him up and goes with him, right? We love it. The clones and Irvin also escape as the explosives set throughout the rig begin to go off. The now deranged diver, the original, has loaded the oil rig with dynamite. He strapped himself to one of its legs, and as the clones and one are rowing away to safety, the diver catches one of his old note papers and briefly regains his sanity, and rethinks his terrible life choice to tie himself with dynamite here. But he's commanding his creations to save him. He's begging these guys to save him, and none of them are listening. Either they can't hear him, he's going away. The music is very ominous and very weird. It seems very mismatched. As one in Miette is in his lap and they're oaring this thing together, share this kind of happy, smug little smile like, oh, we did it. This is great. Don Ray's eating a sausage. Everything is wonderful. The music is intense and getting more so. I think a pelican lands on the handle of the blasting machine.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I mean it's either a pelican or a hawk. You only see its feet, but there was a pelican earlier, so I'm assuming it's the pelican.
I remember it being a pelican.
Yeah, it does not matter. A bird lands on the thing and everything blows up, including the mad scientist who started this fever dream. We see another shot of the clones and the brain in a jar, so they're going to be okay. And we see the children from the safety of the boat as Dondre closes the film with the burp he was hired for. And that is City of Lost Children.
It's so good. It is so good. And it's so hard to talk about, and I think such a perfect pick for this, because it draws influences from everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It doesn't
and influenced a couple things, like the guy who designed Fallout says that he was influenced by it. The monocles and the tubing and all that kind of stuff.
Makes sense. I mean,
although Fallout influenced by a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing, right? It's like, and I think it's Terry Gilliam, who does Imaginarium.
Oh yeah, Dr. Parnassus, that's a good one too.
It's a great one, and he's working in tandem, right? Because he's got stuff before this, stuff after, but it's this similar, just hugely imaginative
Yeah.
world that's based, I think, fundamentally in some of our favorite genre stuff. But let's talk about that after a break.
Jealousy is a foolish thing. It's not like you can force someone to love you. It's not like you can turn fate and make things different. There's no deal to be had. No creature who can step in. Yes, listen to me now. Jealousy is a foolish thing.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.
We talked about some of the influences, and there's some big ones, right? There's Greek mythology, obviously, the Cyclops, but also the Fates. They sort of combine them, right? You know, it's like everybody's sort of looking through the same eye.
Yes. There's
the other thing.
There's something so monstrous and fairy tale about the conjoined twins, you know, and I can't think of any actual monster that is like, I guess the Hydra, you know, sharing multiple heads for one body, but it's like, it's such a specific and weird thing, and I love her.
Well, and so I can think of multi-bodied goddesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Morrigan, Irish, but I do think the huge influence, which is Pulp Fiction, especially European Pulp Fiction, right? So the circus dynamic throughout this, his costume, their material is so post-war 20s, and the Americans have some influence on it. But also, it's so funny you're talking about Captain America earlier. You're right about Silver Age and later Captain America. They're not saving the kids. But the golden age of comic books can be really brutal. Yeah. So there's a Captain America story where they're hanging out and this homeless person walks up asking for money, right? You know, can I get something? And you run into him again, and he's been turned into a zombie. And you find out that there's this cult turning people into zombies, all these innocent, sweet people. And that's a very golden era thing. Like,
yeah, the idea is that people are dying because you didn't help them fast enough. Like, you don't get those other kids back. Like, they're able to rescue the kids who were in the boat with Dawn Ray, but all the other ones are drowned long ago.
Yep, and they don't do anything to make that better. But it's also, and I know I brought this up, very fairy tale.
Very fairy tale.
Like the weird thing about the Pied Piper is there's the version of the story where he comes back with the kids is really late. Like, that is not how that story goes.
This is too sad for us. We're going to change that.
Yeah.
Like, too sad for the Germans. No.
And it's similar here.
Yeah.
And it's also got this almost medieval idea of, because there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, deformity in it, but it's almost always reflective of the kind of thing.
Yes.
Right? So he's aged, but he was never a child.
Yeah.
Right?
None of the children are deformed.
Yes.
Ron Perlman is such a weird face, but he's not deformed.
No, but there's a reason they cast Ron. And no offense, Ron is a very good-looking man in a lot of ways.
Love him so much.
But he got big because he was the Beast.
Yeah.
Because for those of you,
Vincent.
No, he's the Beast. For those of you who don't know, I've actually never seen
who weren't prepubescent girls in love with Ron Perlman in the 80s.
Oh, wait, I got a story about that. So, but for those of you who don't know, there was a TV show of which George R. Martin was a writer, if I understand this correctly. That was a buddy cop, will they, won't they, about Beauty and the Beast. And Ron Perlman plays a full in the makeup beast, right?
Lives in the sewers.
Always been
the most romantic place for a beast to live.
Yeah. He's always been coded as kind of ugly, but also very attractive. I mean, it's just not me. Don't beat me up, Ron. I had nothing to do with this. It's just.
I mean, he should absolutely come and beat you up. Your mother would love that.
Yes, Mom would be very happy for 2 reasons.
Melanie McLeod is a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy, so
and Ron Perlman in general.
I don't think I've seen a movie that he hasn't been just hitting it out of the park with. And I realized while I was doing this, he's the voice of Slade in Teen Titans too.
Oh yeah, we don't want to turn this just into a but Ron Perlman is a fantastic actor who I think should be in.
But back to the point, an adult who's not deformed. But
weird looking.
Yeah.
Again, whether it's fair or not, but it's sort of like when you cast Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Right? Like, actually, Steve looks like a normal, I say as if we're friends, he looks like a normal guy, but he's coded as
weird looking.
Funny looking.
Yeah. Because he's not Hollywood good looking.
Yeah. And they make Perlman up to be over the top,
bigger chin.
He's doing it with his body.
Yeah. And the thing about this film is there are normal looking people in this film, and it's the people that you see in those weird dream sequences who are interacting with things like the horse running out thing, the electricians. But there's so many people that are not normal looking. That like it's the normies are kind of obvious. So it's like, oh, okay, there's this whole underground city of lost children who are outside of this normal world. And I think that's got to be part of it, because the kids are all like normal looking, street urchins, tiny children acting like adults, which obviously I love. All my prompts are about the urchins, I think. But there's so many interesting things going on here that so we went with fairy tales. It's got that weird morality where your own corruption shows up in your body. But there's also a corruption of found family in this that I think is really interesting, because the gang of orphans is a family with the Cyclops as their mother. So they have left a family and entered into an abusive family.
Yes. No, this is not anti-found family, because obviously the last family is found family. But this is also, you can create really damaging relationships, but these are not cynical.
Yes.
The most cynical character is the octopus.
Yes.
But everybody else
has a deep love of, her sister.
Yes.
And Marcello. And I think
she likes Marcello.
She likes Marcello. And I feel like she might like the children who behave. I don't know. She feels betrayed by Miette.
Yeah, no, so it is, and what's great is all these relationships are complex, but also, right, so it's like, I do think she likes them, but she likes them the same way Fagin likes the kids.
Yeah, they make
money, but also worship.
Yes. Worship.
You look to me, I am. Yeah. And so that found family is corrupted, just corrupted as fuck. You have this lonely inventor who literally creates a family and cannot see that everything he's doing is wrong. Everything is going wrong with these people. The most beautiful woman in the world ends up, Martha's such a cool looking person, because she's just this beautiful matron, but she's so tiny. Big beautiful eyes. You've got the clones, and it's such a toxic place because everyone in that they are in a codependent relationship. Yes, they are in a codependent relationship.
Yeah, everything is about
Lisa and I are not. We looked it up 3 times.
We've looked it up. We are not codependent. We just do everything together because we love each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're in a codependent relationship, and everything is about Kronk and what he needs done. The clones have no other personality except service to their brother. And the mother does nothing except protect and defend these children from their own bad behavior.
In such a heartbreaking way. And it's one of the things that I love about it, right? Which is if you have met all of these people and not as such an extreme version, right? You have met the person who thinks if they can just make the one they care about happy, it'll stop the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they can never be happy.
Yeah.
You have the people who understand loyalty as affection, right? It's like, oh, we obey. And you have that uncle who knows better, but is in constant pain himself.
And helpless.
And helpless.
He's not the father. He can't help. He can't tell anybody what to do, you know? But yeah, no. And it's such a corrupted, but they care so much about each other, you know?
And I think that genuine affection makes everything hit harder. Yeah. Everything hit harder.
And I'll say, Miette does not find herself like she's in a found family with one at the end. It's going to be better for her than the Cyclops, but it's not going to be a good relationship. Like, one depends on her. And maybe that'll change when they're not.
Yeah, because remember, one rescues her at the end.
He does rescue her. He does take care of her. He does support her. He does help her. But she is giving everything. Like, she turns herself on her little gang of boyfriends. She's risking her life. But I mean, you know, that's the price.
I feel like you're drawing for a more cynical ending than exists.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am.
That is a happy. I mean, it's kind of sad because the one guy blows up, but I don't go away going, oh, another bad relationship.
You're right. I'm being cynical myself. I'm dressed like a French orphan, so you know.
Yeah.
Too. But she's such an interesting character too, because she wants to take care of and protect all these people, but she's already hardened herself so much to it, and practiced being so stoic and so unfeeling that it takes being killed or seeing someone die to make this little girl, like I'd say 10 years old, look like a child.
It's true, but that's the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would argue that's the heart of the movie, right? It's like you have a world where this child is absolutely cynical, absolutely doesn't, you stick to yourself. That's all anybody does.
Yep.
You meet one who, oddly enough, love and irony, right? One, the only person working for other people in a genuine way.
Yes. Yep.
And
that sense of loss he has when the Barker is stabbed is so profound. Like, the scene is he's brought the corpse back to the caravan. He's laid the man in his bed, and he's just sitting next to him and sort of staring off into space like, what do I do now without you? And you get, like, they've never interacted except outside. We only see them for a few moments in the show, but it's like, oh, his whole world just fell apart. Like, no wonder he's going through these extremes to save little brother.
Yeah, but also it's his little brother. I mean, I do think the simplicity of that is vitally important.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There is, I don't want to call it
his little brother that he found on top of a trash heap. Like, he can't, he doesn't have the words to tell me yet how he found him, so he's literally miming it to her. And she's like, I get the picture, whatever. He's not even your real brother. Like,
yep.
And he's like, yes, he is. It's my petit frère. But yeah.
So,
I've been calling it steampunk, but I don't actually know if it is. Like,
I think steampunk is as fair as anything. It is not steampunk. I'm going to be meaner than I I actually feel. But it is not steampunk in the sort of generic, everything kind of looks alike.
Yeah,
Clean.
The Victorian bustles and corsets, like
Yeah.
the because I don't even know what time I would place this at. Like the talk of the Silver Age and the pulps made me wonder, like, is it 1920s?
Oh, for me, I always took it as 1920s. Obviously, I mean, like, just the vibe, the music, the use of carnival.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about
obviously, it's
the showgirls that we saw running out. Like they had that Edith Piaf look about them. So I mean, they got the. So I could absolutely see it as 1920s. It just. But it's punk of some kind because it's got all these weird brass things. The monocles, they're so good. But yeah,
the pollution, like the constant pollution.
that water is not safe to drink. All I'm saying.
So, would you adapt it or would you mine it for parts?
Question for you, man.
Right, but I was waiting for you to ask it.
Oh, well, I'll ask it then. Lane.
Oh no, really? Really to me? For those of you who are only listening to us, she's giving me a withering but very French stare. Um, so I don't know how
would you adapt it?
Literally, I don't know how you adapt it other than you take acid, you go full Leary, and you come up with another fairy tale. Partially because in some ways it's really simple, right? In some ways it's for all of that, it's a child has been kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to be eaten by an ogre in dream form. Baked into a pie, not literally, but kind of metaphorically. And
it's about to be dropped from an oil rig into a polluted water.
Yes, but after they've gone through the nightmare machine and used for everything that they can be.
Yeah.
Weird thing. You know what it kind of reminds me of for our D&D fans? If you wanted to use this as inspiration for Curse of Strahd, there's these things called dream pastries, right? Where the three evil witches kidnap children and basically turn them, I don't know if they use the children for it, but they create these little pasties that make you trade your children in.
Yeah,
and I think you could
bring you
probably
happiness inside of the hellscape that is Barovia.
Ravenloft. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Barovia.
Yeah, no, that's
No, you were right. 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of adaptation, did you finish here?
Yeah. No, so frankly, I think you have to mine it for parts.
Yeah,
unless you
have the budget to make it again,
and permission,
because this is a story that I would love to see this as an animated film. I'd love to see this as a French musical.
I would love to see this on stage.
Yeah,
can
you imagine?
Yes. Yeah, so first off, I do love the idea of it as a musical, but even without, right? The being literally in the room.
Yeah.
And having people, this is one where I would be breaking. There would be no fourth wall.
Yeah, you're part of the city. You're in the water.
Yeah. And I would have some of the dream stuff happen above people on wire. Yeah, if it's French, go full Cirque du Soleil, right? Have them on wire.
Yes. Oh my God.
Have the octopus, go around. Yeah, I think it's so funny. We never talk about this. For adaptation, what I would do is I would lean even further into imagery with dance.
Yeah.
Right? We could do it music. Or go completely the other way. Because I think if you were to novelize this, it would be really interesting to play with formatting.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just trying to explain some of the shit that's unexplained in this world would be like you could fill a novel easily. Just why is fate so involved? How are all these coincidences happening? What's going on with the rest of the people in this town? Like, It's crazy. It'd
Well,
be
and you brought earlier magical realism, which starts as a literary movement.
Yes, yeah, and it's so magical realistic because everyone just kind of accepts the bizarre that's happening. It's like, oh yeah, a conjoined Siamese twin. That's weird, but whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so if you're talking about adapting this, which is in its broadest possible form, a quest through a early 20th century fairy tale, of which, I mean, of which arguably I haven't finished Ulysses, but there's a part of me, because that's so satirical, right? But taking like this epic quest and just plopping it in a city.
In the city, yeah. Yeah, following that kind of thing, like, but this is like normally my thing of adaptation is like, oh, can we tell the story in the modern day? And I'm like, like
Neverwhere.
what?
So if you're talking about Neverwhere,
Neverwhere, yeah.
right? Which
Yeah, but I mean, so much of Neverwhere is the portal fantasy. It's not just okay. It is that London below exists, but it's also like there is an explanation of magic. There is a. It's much more fantasy than this, which is just kind of
yes, no, but what I think it does do well is illustrate what a bizarre other world in a modern city might look like.
yes,
But I also think the problem with the modern day, using it for the modern day, is we don't you'd have to use Chicago. You could use 1970s through 90s New York, which still had that reputation.
yeah. You need a place that has violence in every street, which is one of
Violence, profanity, nudity, the strange. Like when you talk to like old New York guys today, and Lisa and I talk to them, the thing they talk about is New York losing its character. They're not talking about the crime. They're talking about the weird guys or weird gals who.
Oh, pizza rat! We had pizza rats in my day. They were the size of your head. They'd run off with your baby.
That's right. And kangaroo jumping through Central Park. And I do think, right, I do think that it matters that it's a French film. And of course it's drawing from other spots, but it's also drawing from that sort of, at least it feels to me from the outside, Parisian feel. And I think if you knew an area well enough, right, you could sort of do something similar. So you could have the gamblers, and we're from Jersey, the gamblers in AC. You're going through like a minotaur like maze of people just pulling.
Oh man, yeah. Then now I kind of want to write a.
Hunting you, and you can't find an exit.
That's great. While things are chasing after you, I could absolutely see that. I could that's a cool prompt. That's a free prompt for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, free prompt. That's not one of our 5. That's free prompt.
I like that one a lot. Yeah, I was really stretching my brain today of how I would adapt it, and the best I could come up with musical. There's a lot to take for parts, though, and I have done so.
Yeah, it's almost all parts.
Yeah. I mean, I got really fascinated for about, I don't know, 8 years ago, in the relationship of the clones, because they have this quest for who is the original. I can be original. I can be brave. I can make these things. And the interchangeableness of them, because they are all played by the same really good actor.
Yes.
I once, it's just the micro expressions on these guys, like the naturalness of the performance, like when they're bored, when they're yawning, it's just all happening there, which I just love about it. But so I got real fascinated by that. It became like the character, and literally when I got my MFA, one of the narrators is a clone who's trying to figure out what it means to be outside of this group, and struggling with sharing dreams with these other guys, and having this kind of telepathic science-based link to the 10 identical people to him.
It's such a cool, because I had the pleasure of reading this. It is so cool. And if any of you out there are agents, you should ask her about this manuscript. So until you really get to know the character, one of the big questions in this first half of the book is there's all sorts of memories that this guy goes through, and you're never 100% sure if the character you're following, if it's his memories, because all of them share it. And I did ruthlessly steal that part for one of my prompts because I do think it is such a good idea.
Yeah.
And Lisa owes me a couple of stolen conceits.
Just a few. But I also love how all these different characters have these different, it all weaves together. Like when you're in that fair at the beginning, the orphans, the circus people, the Cyclops, and the weird clones you just saw seem completely unrelated.
Yeah.
But then by the end of that scene, they have become so intrinsically linked, and you don't know it yet. Like the Cyclops guy has killed the Barker, so you've got this nasty relationship that's there. The Don Ray has been targeted as we're going to steal that kid because he's fearless and he's clearly alone. And it's like it's all interconnected, which is another big part of which Ghost Dog Clone is. It's four braided narratives coming together. So I mean that's it's obviously big influence. It's a really nifty thing to steal.
And part of a wonderful book you've made, and it's not a carbon copy of the world.
No.
So when we talk about borrowing from things, so I'll tell you what I think is now definitely an influence on City of Lost Children that I wouldn't have known until earlier this year. So Lisa and I watched, I forget what it's called, but it's this bizarre 40s or 50s black and white film about a man who's a surgeon who does an experiment and his brain is put onto a machine.
Yes.
How the surgeon who does that tries to turn a woman who died, who has a doppelganger, and switch their heads. It's a bizarre movie.
Yeah, I think it's just called The Head.
I think it's just called The Head, or maybe The Brain.
He wants to make the perfect woman by taking one woman's head and putting it on this other woman's body.
Yes.
Which is just bizarre. It's
he
a
doesn't
weird.
even love her. It is purely because he thinks it will be perfect.
Yeah.
The same kind of experimental mindset. I love a good mad scientist.
Yeah.
We don't get good mad scientists.
The Head had a very good. He was a very good man. But yeah, no, the head in literally the decomposing head on a plate. Was
who can't do anything and who is suffering,
Yep.
But who's brilliant, who's still brilliant.
Having conversations with this person, like, because the only thing he has is the ability to talk. So he's like, I'm not going to be 100% hostile to you because otherwise you'll put me in in isolation, and I want to talk to you. So you have these moments of like friendship between them that is undercut by the fact that you cut off this guy's head and kept it alive. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, no, and there's 3 other movies on that DVD, all head and brain related.
Yeah, just a weird little. The pulps, man, and the way they package this album today is wonderful. I love it so much.
Yeah, we'll definitely do one of those brain ones for an inspiration chop shop for a plagiarize.
Well, yeah. Some other things I love the idea of a corrupted. Like, I steal a lot of themes from this. The found family that is corrupted. So you've escaped a bad situation and gone into a less bad situation, but not a perfect one. I was thinking a lot in this one about this world. Miette is a pretty little girl. And if she does not work with the octopus, who is she going to work for? She's going to go to one of these brothels. They're all throughout this movie. And her affection for one is so aware, of sexuality, but also so childish at the same time. It's such an interesting. I don't want to write that, but someone else should. It's just an interesting she's got to stay in this gang of pickpockets and make her money and keep herself there because her other options aren't good.
Her other options aren't good, but she's also becoming, because I do think the reason why the octopus targets her is she's becoming dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
She is as much in control of that gang as the octopus.
yeah, she's not going to grow up to be one of the prostitutes. She's going to grow up to be the octopus or an equivalent of, and that's why she's got to go even when the money comes.
Even when the money comes back and she gets everything back the way that the octopus wants it. Like, there is no temptation of taking Mia and one and the jewels and bringing them back to the gang. It's, you gotta die now. Because she knows this is a threat. And the octopus has had a long line of kids who have gotten good and betrayed her. And you get the sense that she's killed all of them.
Yep.
But, so yeah. So I love that kind of thing. One of my prompts is literally about if what happens to this gang as they grow up. There's these super smart, super savvy kids. Eventually, they're going to be adults. How do they stay together when they're not helpless?
And does growing up change them?
Yeah, when adult desires, adult pressures come in on them.
But I think that is a great
segue
into our prompts.
Our writing prompts. Yeah.
All right.
So speaking of prompts, I accidentally gave away one of our not free ones, so you guys are welcome.
Oh my gosh. Well, to get the other free prompts, you need to join us on Substack for mere $7,000 a month.
$5 a month.
It's $5 a month?
Price of a cup of coffee.
For all our value. I thought it would be more.
No, we're cheap. We're French.
All right. Well, so here is one of the free prompts. So, in a wicked circus in a dystopian future is visited by a dream demon who begins making the cruel acts kind. So it is a demonic creature spreading kindness in their acts. So everything is originally torturous and bad, and it grows kinder through this infectious sweetness.
That's how I keep waiting for another shoe to fall. That's unlike you. I like it.
No. Because and again, it's just a prompt. But in my head, right? So all the imagery, like the cathedral and the stuff, is all pointing towards oppression. And this demon, who's adorable in my brain, just starts going into people's dreams, and they make this really subversive, sweet, The jugglers begin using fruit instead of knives, things like that.
That's cute. I like that a lot. A demented demon. So my first prompt: on the outskirts of a port city and under the water, there is a community of treasure hunters, exiles, criminals, and other misfits living in submarines, completely undetected by the surface world.
Voyage of Lost Souls.
Yeah, a literal city of lost children under the water. Basically like the diver walking around, except, if there are other divers and they sometimes meet underground, they're like, and rise up in these bars and have like whole like community things that are just like hiding from everyone else.
Oh, I love that. Would you say they're under the sea?
Under the sea. Anyway. Your next one?
Yeah, no, I like that. It's very Captain Nemo. Okay, so early 20s, a Russian ex-count, ex-duke, ex-white Russian czarist encounters the child of one of the basically head communists who had his family killed.
Oh.
But that family, that group of original Soviets is now on the other side. Maybe they're Trotskyists, but they are now. And so this count is working to save the child of the family that killed his own family.
Intense. I like that he would have this conflicted feeling, like, but but also it's a child. They're innocent.
Yep, they're innocent. And it'll be played by Ron Perlman.
The child?
Yes. And Steve Buscemi will play the Duke.
I'd watch that.
I just want to see Steve Buscemi cradle Ron Perlman.
Oh, man. My next prompt. A mysterious dreaming disease inflicts sufferers with the same dream night after night. They sleepwalk into a fog and disappear, only to wake exhausted and disoriented standing at the edge of the harbor. Their friends and family are desperately searching for a cure or a cause, but then the dream changes.
Give me what I want and I'll go away.
Oh, I hadn't gone that direction, but yeah, that's a Stephen King reference right there.
That is a Stephen King reference. Check out Storm of the Century if you want to understand it.
We should do that one.
I love that one. I would not mind doing that one at all.
Anyway,
a brain in a jar tries to find the perfect man for a young woman while secretly falling in love with her.
I love that.
Cyrano de Bergerac in miniature.
I love when it's just the prompt, because I was thinking Emma.
Oh, Emma's good too.
Which is just this great, this like, oh, I'm going to set up all of my friends who have bodies.
You will find the right one.
We will find him for you. Stop crying.
You're perfect. Thanks, Ula.
My next one is a really, really simple prompt. I love this. A Victorian orphan gang in space.
In space.
Petty crimes, treasure hunts, shenanigans, but in a pure sci-fi scenario. I think that'd be just a real fun one.
I agree. All right, here's the one I sort of stole from you. Identical children born simultaneously in different countries discover that they look identical. I have them all albino, completely without pigmentation in their hair and thing. And they're psychically connected. Something one learns, they all learn. And they are drawn mysteriously to each other.
Oh, I like that. That is creepy.
Yep.
Yeah, that is good. That's very different than my guy, but I like it.
Yeah, I said it was inspired by. I didn't steal your plot.
You never know. My next one is a street urchin recruits a strong man into their orphan gang, only to discover their benefactors plan to use, corrupt, and ultimately destroy him.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I was not thinking Mia is the one who recruits him, but like Tadpole, the guy who's like, oh, it's the strong man, we love him. Just because that kind of excitement would totally blind him to like, oh, right, my mom's going to eat him. You know?
Yes. All right, then my final one is a little girl dreams the dreams, and by dreams I mean the ambitions, what somebody wants to be from whoever she's closest to. And the longer she's next to that person, the more it comes true for her. So if you want to be a movie star and she's next to you, she starts becoming a movie star.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That could be horrifying for her.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, like, what if the person you're next to, because I had this almost horror
Wants to be a serial killer?
Oh, I was just thinking, could you imagine that everything you've wanted is being accomplished by someone else?
Yes.
Seat next to you?
Yes.
Everybody, the person you care about starts falling in love with her. The dream job you want starts happening.
Yeah. Like, I have a hard enough time when I'm living with someone who's losing weight. I can't even imagine. Ooh. So I'm gonna just do No, I'm going to do my fifth one because I really like this prompt, but then I'm going to give that sixth one that I already kind of said in the thing that was actually one of our hidden prompts that should have been subscribers only. So sorry, guys, you get a little bit of tease. Maybe I'll come up with another one. But my official last one is write a story where one theme unites three of these different stories. And here's these different characters. A man selling bottled dreams on the black market. A gang of street urchins who have accidentally adopted a monster because they think it's just a really ugly dog. A lighthouse keeper who discovers all of these ships are arriving from places that do not exist. Or an acrobat who's in love with conjoined twins. He's in love with both halves, but for different reasons, and the sisters will not share his affections. So only one of them is allowed to be with him, and he's got to choose. So write a story where one theme connects all three. Or, anyway.
Dude, there was more than three, but I love that.
There's four of them, but choose three, I guess, your top favorites. Or, be an overachiever. Do all four. Whatever. I thought of them, and I could not let them go. So
we believe in you, folks.
You can do it.
All right. So I believe it's two things. I want to remind everybody, please subscribe to us on Substack. It's $5 a month. Not only will we be able to buy that single cup of coffee we look forward to every month, but you'll give us the spirit to continue.
I want some more.
The way for our dreams.
Yes.
And also, we need a face for the clickbait.
Before we do that, the one I alluded to, that was a secret one.
You were going to repeat it. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I am going to, because I basically gave it all away, so I'm like, let me just give the whole thing here, because it's these gang of orphans, manipulated, pickpocketed, strong-arm their ways to the top of the criminal underworld, all before they're 18. What happens to this little found family when the pressures and pleasures of adult life start putting strains on them? I wanted to just fully realize it.
I like that a lot.
Right.
Okay, so now, time for a facial expression.
Okay, how French can I get?
That's good. Look at the camera. Perfect. Right there. All right, folks. Thank you so much. And
if you're French, we're sorry.
If you're French, we're very sorry. Sorry, Stella. You're not watching these, but remember what Voltaire always said. Peace.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.